Asterisk from the moment Sabrina Carpenter stepped onto the set of The Kelly Clarkson Show, the atmosphere was electric, but not entirely in a good way. She had just come off a whirlwind tour, her new album climbing the charts, and everyone expected a light-hearted, celebratory interview. Kelly greeted her warmly, but there was a noticeable edge in Sabrina's eyes, as if she had come prepared for something other than playful banter. The audience clapped enthusiastically, unaware that within minutes, this cheerful morning chat would spiral into a tense standoff that no one could have predicted. Asterisk, the first few questions went smoothly enough to her stories, funny behind-the-scenes moments, and Sabrina's favorite fan encounters. But things shifted when Kelly brought up a recent social media controversy involving a lyric in one of Sabrina's songs that some interpreted as a dig at another pop star. "You know what I'm talking about, right?" Kelly said, smiling. But her tone was probing. "Do you want to clear that up?" Sabrina's expression hardened, and she replied, "I think the song speaks for itself. I don't write to please headlines." The studio audience gave an awkward chuckle, sensing the tension. Asterisk, Kelly, clearly not ready to drop the subject, pressed further. "But you do know that a lot of people took it personally, and some fans think you're stirring drama intentionally. Do you think that's fair? If people are looking for drama, they'll find it. I'm not here to explain art to people who don't actually want to understand it." A few gasps rippled through the audience. Kelly's smile faltered, and she glanced toward her producers, as if silently debating whether to push or pivot. Asterisk, instead of backing down, Kelly shifted her chair slightly toward Sabrina. "I get it. But as artists, we also have a responsibility for how our words are received. Don't you think?" Sabrina cut in sharply. "Kelly, with all due respect, you're not in my head when I'm writing, and I'm not going to spend my career apologizing to people who twist my work to fit their narrative." The audience's reaction split. Some applauded her assertiveness. Others stayed quiet. Feeling the air grow heavier by the second, asterisk, the conversation then took an even sharper turn when Kelly tried to lighten the mood by joking about celebrity feuds being great for publicity. Sabrina didn't laugh. "That's the problem," she said, her tone icy. "People think everything is a publicity stunt. Maybe some of us just care about the music, not the circus." Kelly raised her eyebrows, clearly taken aback, and for the first time there was a long, uncomfortable pause on live TV. Asterisk, a producer's voice could be faintly heard from offstage, signaling to move to the next segment. But Kelly, perhaps feeling challenged, said, "Look, I've been in this business long enough to know sometimes you need to address things head-on before they spiral." Sabrina, crossing her arms, replied, "And I've been in this business long enough to know when a conversation isn't worth continuing." That line hit like a thunderclap, and the audience reacted with a mix of shock and nervous laughter. Asterisk, Kelly tried to regain control, suggesting they move to a planned acoustic performance of Sabrina's new single. But Sabrina shook her head and muttered, "I don't think that's a good idea anymore." The audience murmured in surprise, unsure if she was joking. When Kelly asked if she was serious, Sabrina stood up from her chair, adjusted her microphone pack, and said into her lapel mic, "Yeah, I'm done here." Gasps and scattered applause broke out as she turned and walked off stage. Asterisk, Kelly sat, frozen for a moment, her usual quick humor nowhere to be found. The camera awkwardly cut to audience reaction shots, then to Kelly, who took a deep breath and addressed the situation. "Well, live television, folks. Sometimes you get surprises." She tried to laugh it off, but the crack in her voice betrayed the fact that she hadn't expected the segment to implode so publicly. The rest of the show felt tense, as though everyone was still processing what they'd just witnessed. Asterisk, within minutes, clips of Sabrina's walk-off began flooding Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Hashtags like #SabrinaWalksOff and #KellyClash started trending. Fans took sides immediately, some praising Sabrina for standing her ground, others accusing her of overreacting to what they saw as harmless questions. By the end of the day, the interview segment had racked up millions of views online, becoming the top entertainment headline across multiple outlets. Asterisk, Sabrina's team issued no official statement, but she posted a cryptic Instagram story that read, "Boundaries aren't bad behavior." Kelly addressed it the next day at the start of her show, saying, "We love Sabrina, and I hope we can chat again sometime, maybe off camera first." Whether that reunion would ever happen remained uncertain. But one thing was clear, This clash had permanently etched itself into talk show history, and neither woman's fan base would forget it anytime soon. The morning after the clash, social media was in absolute chaos. On X, formerly Twitter, fan accounts posted slow-motion clips of Sabrina standing up, analyzing every flick of her hair and every micro-expression on Kelly's face. Some were captioned with queen energy, while others accused her of being disrespectful to a gracious host. Meanwhile, Kelly's loyal viewers flooded comment sections defending her, pointing out that she had simply been doing her job as an interviewer. The division wasn't just in Tonet, was like two entirely separate versions of the event existed, depending on which side you were on. Asterisk entertainment blogs wasted no time publishing insider stories. One headline screamed, "Sources say Sabrina Carpenter had tense backstage moment before show." Another claimed that Kelly's producers had encouraged her to ask about the controversial lyric, hoping for viral TV. Rumors circulated that Sabrina had already been frustrated by delays in the taping schedule that morning, making her mood fragile before she even sat down. Whether any of this was true hardly mattered. Each story only fueled the fire. Asterisk, TikTok became the battlefield for the most creative and brutal. Fans edited clips from the interview with dramatic background music, turning the clash into a mini soap opera. Some stitched together old interviews where Kelly had pressed other celebrities, arguing it was just her style. Others dug up moments where Sabrina had clapped back at critics before, framing her as someone who never takes the easy way out. The algorithm rewarded the drama, pushing it into millions of For You pages. Asterisk things escalated when a paparazzi video surfaced showing Sabrina leaving the studio that day, looking visibly irritated as someone shouted, "Why'd you walk off?" She didn't answer, but gave a tight smile before getting into a black SUV. Kelly, on the other hand, was photographed hours later leaving the same building. Still, in her taping outfit, smiling at fans but noticeably dodging any questions about the incident, both women's silence only intensified speculation. A late-night talk show host even made a joke about the clash in his monologue, saying, "Looks like Sabrina walked out of Kelly's show. But hey, at least she didn't sing her way out." The audience laughed, but online, the joke sparked new outrage from those who felt it was mocking Sabrina unfairly. Industry insiders began weighing in on podcasts, debating whether this was a sign of a bigger problem with celebrity interviews in the age of viral soundbites. Asterisk, by the third day, hashtags from both camps #Team Sabrina and #Team Kelly were trending worldwide. Some fans tried to de-escalate, suggesting both women had simply had an off day. But others were digging in deeper, posting think pieces, making merch, and even changing their profile pictures to screenshots from the walk-off moment. It was no longer just about the interview, it had become a full-blown cultural talking point. Asterisk, behind the scenes, sources claimed Kelly had reached out privately to Sabrina to smooth things over. Whether that message was accepted remained unclear. But one insider alleged that Sabrina's team wanted a real apology before any reconciliation could happen. Meanwhile, Kelly's producers reportedly debated whether they should invite Sabrina back for a Part 2 interview, knowing it would likely draw record-breaking ratings. Asterisk, Sabrina made her first public appearance after the walk-off at a charity concert in Los Angeles. When she took the stage, fans shouted supportive messages, and one even yelled, "We love you, Sabrina, no matter what Kelly says." Sabrina smirked, but didn't address the comment directly. Instead, she introduced her next song with, "This one's about saying what you mean and meaning what you say," which drew loud cheers from the crowd. Asterisk Kelly, for her part, addressed the controversy more openly on her own show later that week. "Look, sometimes interviews don't go the way you plan," she told her audience. "I respect Sabrina as an artist and as a person, and I hope she knows that." The crowd applauded, but the statement didn't fully satisfy everyone online. Some saw it as a classy move, others dismissed it as damage control. Asterisk, as the weeks passed, the noise slowly began to fade, replaced by the next celebrity drama. But for those who had witnessed the moment livor in the millions of replays online, remained unforgettable. The walk-off became a permanent part of both Kelly and Sabrina's public narratives, proof of how quickly a morning TV segment could turn into a cultural flashpoint. And in a strange way, both women walked away from it with even more attention than they had before.